Today we are going to explore the Textfield widget, one of the most versatile widgets for user input in any app. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. The Textfield widget in Flutter is used to capture input from user. So basically, if you're building a mobile app and you want to capture input from user, maybe their name, their password, their email, the Textfield widget is what is usually used to achieve this. It is versatile and customizable, making it perfect for forms, search bars, and chat app. Let's start with a basic example of Textfield widget. So on the screen here, I have my void main method and I have my run app method. The run app method takes my app, which is a stateless widget, and returns material app. So inside material app, I'm going to have the home, and then I'm going to have input demo, which I'm going to be creating now. Now, because we want to take input from our user and display it on the screen, I'm going to create a stateful widget, and I'm going to call it input demo. And I'm going to return scaffold here, scaffold and app bar, which is going to have a title and text. Just going to give it input demo, and okay, let's say input field demo, and let's add constant here to remove the blue line, and let's save this. So we have our scaffold and the input field demo. So we're going to come down here under the app bar, and we're going to add body, and then we're going to add the text field. So your text field, so if you over on your text field, you can see parameters that you can add to your text field, like your controller, the focus node, the on controller, the decoration, keyboard type, text input action. We're going to be looking at some of these and how we can make use of some of these parameters in Textfield. So the first one we're going to look at is the decoration, and then decoration takes input decoration, and the input decoration, if you over on this, you can see that it takes your icon. The input decoration basically helps you to style and provide hints for the text feed. So when you want to style your text feed, or you want to provide hints for the text feed, you use the input decoration. We're just going to look at two examples for now, then we'll dive in deeper later. So I'm going to use the label text, which is going to take string, and I'm going to say enter your name, and also I'm going to be using the border. So if I should save this first now, so you're just going to see this. So in order to add the border to it, I'm going to say border, and then I can say outline input border, and let's add command here, and let's add constant here, and let's save this. So we can see now that we have border around our text field. So let's give space between the text field and the edge of the screen. So I'm just going to come here now. I'm going to wrap this with my padding, and then remove the constant from here and add it here. And yeah, we can save this now. Console remove it from here. So console remove it from here. And yeah, we can save it now, and you can see that we have padding between the edge of the screen and our text field. So this simple example demonstrates a text field with label and an outline border. Before we go deep into how we can use our input decoration, let's look at how we can handle user input. So to handle user input in Textfield, we normally use what we call the text editing controller. So you come here and you add final and text right now of test editing controller. Then you give it your variable name. I'm going to call it controller, and then you create an object of test editing controller, and then you save it. Another thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to create a variable whereby whatsoever value we input into our test feed, we're going to store it inside the variable. So I'm going to have string, and I'm going to say my input or my test, and I'm just going to make it empty for now. And yeah, so we've created our controller here. We're going to come back here, and then we're going to add to our test feed, we're going to add controller and then underscore controller. I'm having this error because of this constant that is here, so I'm going to remove this here from here and then add it here, and I'm going to also add it here. So the test controller provides better control over input field and allows us to fetch or modify its value programmatically. The test controller is versatile because it enables bidirectional communication between the test field and your code. This makes it ideal for scenarios such as resetting test feed, setting initial values, or validating input programmatically. Because we want to display whatever value our user inputs on the screen here, we're going to be having multiple widgets displayed vertically across our screen. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to wrap this with a colon. I have a separate tutorial on how to use colon. You can check my channel for that. So I'm going to wrap this with colon, and then I'm going to come down here. Start the padding here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add sized box. So what we basically use sized box for is that if you want to give space between two widgets, you can use your size box. I'm going to add const here, and then I'm going to come here, command. I'm going to use my elevated button, which is going to take on press. So when I press my elevated button, I want something to happen. Then I'm also going to give it a child, which is going to be a test, and I'm going to say submit. I'm going to add const keyword here to remove the blue line, and add comma here to format, and I'm going to save this. So we have the submit button here. Also, I want the value, just like I said the other time, whatever value the user input here, I want to display it on my screen. So I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to have test widget. Let me add size box just to give space, and that test widget here. And then I'm going to the variable which I'm saving here, which is empty, the variable which I have here, which is empty for now. I'm going to copy that because that's what I want to store the value which my user will be inputting here. That's where I want to store it. So I'm going to show you how it's going to work very soon. So I'm just going to say the input is, and then we have dollar. We have this here. And let's style it so that we can have something beautiful. Style and test style. And let's give it font size of, let's say, 18, and font weight dot put, and comma. Save this. So we have the input is. So for now we don't have anything here because we are here to enter any value, and we are here to make use of our controller. So how do we make use of our controller? I'm going to come out here, and then I'm going to void. I'm going to create a function which, when we click on this submit, it's going to capture the value that was saved here, and then it's going to store it inside my test, and then we can display it on the screen. So we're going to say we're going to call this, let's call submit value, which is not going to take any parameter. And so we're going to have my test, equals to underscore controller dot test. So what we're basically doing now is that because the controller captures whatever value a user puts here, so this controller is going to capture the value, and then it's going to store it inside this variable, which is my test, and then we can display it on the screen. So here I'm just going to come here and say underscore submit value and save this. After we've done this, because this is a stateful widget and the value will be changing, we need to use our set state method. So we're going to set state, and then we will have to put this inside the set state, and we can save this now. So if I come here now and I type digital bar and I submit, here we have the input is digital bar. So I can cancel it and say Nigeria, and I submit. The input is Nigeria, and this is how we make use of the controller to capture values from our test feed and then display it on our screen. So apart from displaying, we are working on a complex on a big project, you can save your data on your data base. You can use it for validation. The test feed widget supports many advanced features, such as controlling the keyboard type, adding icons, and enabling obscure text for password. So I'm going to show you how you can add keyboard type. To do that, simply come under the test feed here, and then you add keyboard type, and this takes test input type. So I'm just going to test input type, and then I can put dot. So we have different test input type, from date time to email address, name. So depending on anyone you want to work with, you can play around with the options we have here just to understand the work. So but basically I'm just going to use dot email address, and this saying that this input field is for email address. So the keyboard that is going to show for email address. If I put dot phone number, then basically the keyboard type is going to be for phone number. So I'm just going to use dot email address. And then also, if I don't want users to see the text I'm typing in my test feed, I can use obscure text, and this takes a Boolean value, true or false. So I'm just going to make it true. And if I save this now and I come here and I type anything, you can see that the text is obscured. You can't see it. So I'm just going to comment this for now. Just going to comment this for now. Another thing you can do is that you can come to your decoration and the input decoration. You can add, we already have our label text. You can also add int text. So you want something to show here. Let's say this is empty for now, and you want something to show here, giving an int of the value that is being required here on your test feed. You can give an int text, and you come here to your decoration. You can have int text, and this also takes a string. Then you can say email, and let me change this from enter your name to enter your email, and let me save this. So you see, I've not started typing anything. It's showing me an int text that what is required here is my email, and also my label text shows that enter email here. Another thing you can add also is that you can add your prefix icon. So I want an icon to show at the beginning of my test feed here. I can add a prefix icon. So I just say prefix icon, and then I say icons dot email, and I save this. Then you can see my prefix icon. And that thing is that we can also add our suffix icon. So the icon I want to show here, so I'm just going to use icon button for now, just for, then I'm going to add method here, and I'm going to use icons icon and icons dot clear. Yeah, and I'm getting this error for this I'm getting the error on the onPress because I have constant here. So I'm going to remove the constant keyword. I'm going to remove the constant keyword, and I'm going to add it here, const, and I'm going to go into my onPress, my controller dot clear, and save this. So what do I mean by this? So if I type digital, sorry, so if I type digital party and I come here and say yes, I call this method, you can see that the text which I just typed now cleared. So these are some of the things you can do with your text input field. And to do that, I'm going to be adding more features to this. One of the things I can do is that I can come to the text feed here, and then I can say style and give a text style. And then I can say so whatever text I'm typing here, I want to give it a particular color. I'm just going to give this color, say colors dot blue, and also we can give a font size of 18 pixel, and we can add constant. We can add constant here, and save this. So if I come here now and I type anything, you can see it's in blue color and the font size is in 18 pixel. Another thing we can do is that we can give our label text. We can also style it by saying label style, use text style, and then we can also give this also a color, say colors dot blue, depending on any color you want to use. Just for the purpose of this example, I'm using blue color, and you can add const also. So you can give you can increase the font size or the font weight, and I'll save this, and yeah, you can see now that my label style is blue color. And lastly, before I end this video, I'm going to show you how you can style the border also. So we can style our border, and to style the border, first thing you need to know is that we have different type of borders. We have the enabled border and we have the focused border. So I'm going to change this to enabled border, and the enabled border is going to take an outline input border, which is going to take border side. I'm going to give it border side also, and then it takes color. We give it color dot green, and I come out just to format it, and this also I'm going to be giving it a border radius, and then this takes border radius dot circular, and I'm going to give it 20 pixel. If I save this now, you might not see, you won't see anything for now. Reason being that it's on enabled border. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, and I've not added the focused border, so I'm going to add a focused border to it now, and then I will explain the difference between the two. So I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to add focused border, and I'm just going to copy this same thing that I have for my enabled border. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it for this. So let's add constant to this just to remove the blue line and make it look neat. And also let's add for this also, and change the color from green for the focus border to, let's use Just for example purpose, I'm going to use orange. You can style it based on the UI design you have when you're working on your project. So when I add a focused border now, you can see that I have orange here. So I'm going to copy this on the padding there, and then I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to leave it like this and save it. So you can see that focused border means that when I focus on this, when I'm on this text field, the color change to orange. But enabled border simply means that okay, I'm enabling border for this my text field. Even though I'm not doing anything on it, give it a border because I enabled border for the text field. So that's the difference between enabled border and focused border. So in this example, we've customized the text field with unique color and style for the text, label, and borders. The text field widget is a cornerstone of every user. The text field widget is a cornerstone of user interaction in any Flutter app. Whether you're building form, search bar, or login screen, the text field provides all the tools you need to create a seamless experience. Explore its future and take your app to the next. If you found this tutorial helpful, kindly like and share, and drop your question in the comment section.